Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
We're back. It's episode 44?
44.
44 of the Brunch and Judge. Oh,
I
God.
saw the look on your face and it was like,
I knew it. I swear to you, I thought about it earlier today because I didn't do my notes the normal way, so I really don't know. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's 44. And then when I got here, I was like, oh no,
it
is
was
it?
just like
Oh
right
no.
before you said it, you had that deer in the headlights look like, oh shit. What number is this?
So that's all you need to know about my work day today.
Oh,
So we're
indeed.
your hosts. I'm April,
And I'm Claire.
and it's been a shit show of a week here on the Brunch and Judge.
Indeed, it has.
Oh God.
Wow.
Dear Lord Jesus.
Welcome
Um,
to the turd circus. That's where we're at.
as my coworker said earlier today under her breath and didn't mean for me to hear, fuck me in the ass.
Indeed.
I loved it
Indeed.
so much. It was my favorite thing all day, I think. No, it definitely was my favorite thing all day. It was a magical moment of, yeah, that's, yeah,
Yep.
that's right. That's how the
That's
day's
fair.
going.
That is a fair assessment. Indeed. Oh jeez.
So this week we will be talking about the Fae. Da 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 da. And we got some good stuff for you, so stick around. But
That's
before
right.
that, Claire,
Yes.
what are you judging this week?
I'm judging a piece of machinery.
Which is garbage.
An
Everything that
inanimate
is
object.
technology related and requires moving parts is
Right.
absolute bullshit. So
Right.
that's how my day's
It's an
going.
inanimate object that just needs to be destroyed. Anyway, um where we do our shows at for the theater in this college. This college was probably built before all the rules and regulations of handicap accessibleness became into play in new
God, I
buildings.
feel that. That's my building. That's my building.
It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's nothing handicap accessible friendly about this building. And it's like to get to it, like the parking lot, you have to like walk the just the walk to the building is ridiculous. And there's no steps, but it's like you have to go down this hill and then it dips and then it comes back up. And it's like then you get in and this classroom because that's what it is. It's a science auditorium. Is
Right, right.
where but it's they've made a stage and you can use
They
it as a
tried.
theater. Whoops,
They
sorry.
tried.
Yeah, yeah. So then it's like after the fact, like, oh, the only way into this science auditorium theater thing are steps that go down either side. And
Oh
so it's
God.
like, oh yeah, yeah. And so then it's like, oh, maybe we should make this accessible for everybody. And so they put in this wheelchair lift, which has not worked. Like we've been there what? I don't know how many years now. Two-ish years
Mm-hmm.
minus COVID. I don't know. The thing has never really consistently worked ever.
You know,
Um
it's
it
the
was
kind of stuff that
broken.
like gets you sued if you don't.
I
And I
know,
say that
right?
as I work at a place where we get threatened to get sued all the time because our stuff doesn't work.
Right. And so I mean, and this is not our deal. I mean, it's the
Right, that's what
college.
I'm saying. The
Like,
college,
yeah.
I'm
Yeah, and
sure they
so
have people who attend their school that
right?
would need that.
I mean, I would think so. Anyway, so we've tried and tried and tried, and people have come to see the show. And some of the people who have used the lift are like, "Oh my god, it's the most terrifying thing on the planet. I'm never getting back on that thing again." Yeah. Or I've known people come in a wheelchair and people in their family pick the fucking wheelchair up and walk it down the steps. I've
Oh my
seen that.
God.
Yes, or it was this other guy and he was in a wheelchair and but he had the thing the what is the word I'm looking for? Canes that you like put your arms in,
Oh, right.
the straps on, and you hold on to it. You can walk. He had to use those to walk down the steps, but it was very precarious. And I was like, oh my god, we're gonna get sued. And this isn't
But
our fault. This
it's
isn't
like
our fault. It's the
the
college.
the joy is that you won't, the college will, because
Right, right.
it's
It's just
their facilities. But still,
anyway.
good God.
So the director messages me and she's like, "We can't get the wheelchair lift to work." And I'm like, "Fucking hell!" I just every fucking show, it's something. It is
Hmm.
something, and I'm just. Ugh. So it's like one of the nights that I had off. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go over there, see if I can get this to work while they're rehearsing or before they rehearse or whatever. And there's a system to it because the director of one of the other shows was like, "Oh, somebody," because there was also a part that was missing, and so like the
Um,
mechanics wouldn't work. So then there was like a hand crank at one point that I'm like, that just sounds terrible. So finally, back in the summer, they sent somebody to fix it, and
okay,
it got fixed. And the director texted me the directions, and it was basically like the most rudimentary of directions. Was basically like flip the black switch, key in key in white remote, then key in machine, and then use the corded. There's another remote, a corded remote to
sure,
move
why
it.
not?
And so I'm like, okay, we're gonna see it. So I'm like, I have these basic directions, and I get there, and they've got this key, and they put it in the remote, and they're like, but you can't once you turn it, you can't pull the key back out once it's on.
Sure,
Like I'm assuming all these things are like safety deals.
sure. I mean, I don't know if I would assume that, but sure.
Anyway, so yeah, there's a black switch. You flip the machine on.
Hmm.
Then there's a remote that's on the wall. So you grab that, you put the key in the remote, and then there's a little button that looks like an L. And so that makes the whole thing platform come down. Whoops, I keep hitting my mic. It makes the platform come down
Okay,
flat to where you can wheel somebody on.
sure, sure.
So once you get the platform flat, then you have to take the key out of that remote, put the key in the machine, the whole shebang that's like up against the wall. Then you take there, like I said, there's a corded remote and it's got up and down buttons. So you have to press the up button first to get the bar to lift up because there's bars and there's little like lips around the bottom of this so people can't roll off. So they're not gonna like fall.
Sure, sure.
So when you press the up button, the bar lifts and the one lip flips down so they can roll on.
Okay.
Then you gotta press and here's the thing. I don't know if this thing has just been used so much or people just sit there and like beat the shit out of it trying to get it like, but you really have to like mash the fuck out of it. I mean, you're sitting there and you have to hold it
Like,
down.
oh
Yes. And you're like, oh, why is this not moving? Yeah, you have to like hold it down. And so you
God.
hold down the down button. I was standing on it. And so I wrote it down, but then you have to like make sure it's all you keep holding the down button until it hits the ground, and then you still got to keep holding it so the bars lift up and all the lips of the edges that keep you from rolling off fold down so the person can roll off. And then you have to like do the butt up button, back up. It's a whole thing. But all of the buttons you have to like mash the shit out of them to even get it, and you have to hold it. So that might have been part of the problem is people would like mash it and nothing would happen.
Oh,
But
and you have to
no,
just like
you have
hold
to
it the
keep
whole time.
holding. Yes, you have to keep holding it the entire time, and it's just ugh. But anyway, I got it to work. It was fine once it was anyway. So I did it twice just to make
Hmm.
sure that the first time was not a fluke. And then it was like I showed two or three other people, so it's like I'm not the only one who knows how to work this stupid thing.
Hmm.
Anyway, I mean, because I hate that people in wheelchairs can't come see our shows
It's like, why
because
why is
it's
it
just
so hard to be fucking accessible? I know.
I
Yeah. I
know,
feel
I
that.
know, and it's like it just reminds me of some of these buildings when I was in college at Campbellsville University, and it's like, oh, your class is on the fucking third floor, which is fine. I'm an able-bodied person. There was no stinking elevator in
What?
this building. I mean, it was so fucking old.
Wow. Like even yeah, every building had an elevator at Cumberland. At least classroom buildings. I think there were dorm buildings that didn't, but I mean, you would just be on the first floor, I
Right.
guess. So, but
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
no, our dorms didn't have elevators either.
but no,
Now the newer, obviously, the
no, they all
newer
did. I can't think of
buildings,
one that didn't. So,
yeah. No, now the
Hmm.
newer ones, they definitely
Right, right,
had
right, right, right.
elevators.
Well, because legal,
Right.
legal. It's the law. You have to now.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my god. Oh
But
my god.
yeah, it's like
Nightmare.
so that was my fight with a piece of machinery that, all
Hmm.
these other people are like, I can't get it to work. And it's like, just because you're not pushing the button hard enough, put your weight into it. It's like, gosh. Yeah, but you have to, that's the key. Hold the button down the entire time.
Well, I will try that if I ever come across a non-working chairlift thing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was just the, like, key and remote, then the key and the machine, and then use the other remote. It's just like, wait, what? There were so many. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure a lot of it was safety precaution type stuff, so people didn't do stupid shit and hurt themselves.
Well, and
But
quite honestly, I mean it's a college, so it's probably been through it with a bunch of idiot teens doing stupid crap, and yeah, I get it. It's
right,
whatever.
right.
But whatever.
But anyway,
I'm sorry. That's frustrating and stupid and not what you wanted to do on like, a free night that you had.
right, yeah. No, no, no second job. No,
Mhm.
should have been working on stuff for this podcast.
Oops,
Didn't do
same.
that. Ugh.
Ah,
Anyway, that's my judge. It's just sometimes machinery sucks. It's just like, just
yes.
work like you're supposed to. Why is this
Yes.
so hard?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's my judge.
Very good.
So, what is your judge this week?
Well, I will say I have read little to no news this week because I've spent most of my life, just so that you know, and everyone else knows how
Mhm.
miserable my life is.
Right.
I've been doing a website audit for most of the
Mm,
week, and I just want to stab myself. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's just
that sounds terrible.
it's tedious. I'm just tired of doing it. It's all. It's not bad, but just
It's not great either.
well, auditing a website that I hate, I'm like, but I don't want any of this. Why do I have to go through all this? I want
Right.
something brand new. But anyway,
Right.
so yesterday Spencer was like, I came home and he was like, "Hey, did you hear about Kanye?" And I'm like, "No, why why would I hear anything about Kanye?"
Oh,
Or
Kanye is
as he goes
like,
by
yeah.
now, Yay.
No.
He's just
No.
Yay now.
Yee. I think it's
Yee. Is it
Yee,
Yee?
isn't it?
Oh well, but it's Kanye, so I assumed it had to be Yay.
Oh, I think it's Yee.
Yee,
You know
dude. Like,
how he did the Yeezus thing?
oh, fair, fair. Yee,
I don't know.
Yee,
It's
Yay. I don't know.
stupid. It's
Yee, Yay.
stupid.
Let's
We're
call him.
calling him Kanye.
Yeah,
We're not calling him by Yee or whatever. That's
but
dumb and asinine.
Spencer's like, did you hear what Kanye said about Hitler? And I was like, no.
Oh, I don't think I heard this. What did he say about Hitler?
So apparently Kanye was on InfoWars with Alex Jones, whom we hate.
Oh God, why?
So you haven't heard about this. Oh, this is magic. Oh, you'll love
Not
this.
no, not this
You
Hitler thing.
will
No.
absolutely love this because it's Alex Jones, who we hate,
Yes.
and Spencer played the clip for me, so I did hear it. So that
Uh-huh.
I was here for this. So they're having a conversation, and they're talking about I think like the uniforms of like the Third Reich, which
Why?
random piece of information in case you're curious. So those uniforms were designed by Hugo Boss.
Mm-hmm.
And he was inspired by the police uniforms of Massachusetts and New Jersey, I think. Whatever their police uniforms were at the time inspired him, and that's how he made the Third Reich uniforms. Just random bit of knowledge. But anyway, so they were talking about the
Interesting.
uniforms. And Kanye was talking about how he really liked the uniforms, but then also said he really liked Hitler and the things that Hitler did, or something like that. And Alex Jones, whom we all know is a fucking asshole, and
Right.
we all hate, tried really hard to get Kanye to walk that back and to being like
Wait,
talking about the
what?
yes, right. That's what was he was like, "Oh, you
What?
mean that you like really appreciate, you really like what Hugo Boss did with those uniforms because it's a really nice design." And he's like, "Well, yes, but no. I mean, it's all of it." And he's like, "Well, but,"
Oh God.
and so like listening to
Oh
Alex
no.
Jones try to get Kanye to walk back. It was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Because I'm like, I hate
Oh
Alex
gosh.
Jones. And like, he's not a good person. And I'm pretty sure he's pro Hitler as well. But he at least has some sense that he can
Right.
say those things. I mean, he can say lots of other things like, Sandy Hook was a lie, but he
I'm
won't
sure
say.
that that whole thing
I bet
is
that's
probably why he was trying
trying
to
to walk.
get
He's like, I don't want to get
Kanye to
sued
like
anymore.
walk that back because he's already gotten his ass in some hot water
Uh huh. And so,
and he owes people money for what was it, slander or libel or
yes.
whatever it was. Yeah. His ass is already in hot water over that. So he's probably
But
like, oh great. I have this guy on my show who's gonna get me even more hot water.
But I'm like, can you imagine being such a fucking idiot that you say things that even Alex Jones tries to get you to walk back?
Oh crap.
You need to go
Wow.
hear it because it's kind of funny because you can hear Alex Jones be like, oh, like the,
Like he's like really like, oh crap, no, 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 no,
yeah,
no.
like, don't
He's
do it,
like,
don't do it. Ah.
no,
And
don't
so,
say it, don't
but
say it.
of course, Kanye couldn't
Oh, of
take
course.
the hint and just kept pushing forward or whatever and got a lot of backlash, fair, because so, you know, I'm not gonna say whatever side you fall on with Hitler, because like there's only one side, and that is he was pure evil and awful. That's the only. That's
100%.
it. There's nothing.
Yes,
There's
absolutely
nothing
right.
redeeming about him. I mean, you can say things like, for me, I'm like, wow, he was a very powerful orator. Like he was able to deliver speeches, and people believed his ridiculous bullshit and follow him. How terrifying, but also
Right.
fascinating, but terrifying. Like not good, but
No.
like that's he's evil. So, but he was evil to very specific groups of people, and people of color were on that list. Like,
And
the
that's
fuck
why I'm
is
just
wrong
like,
with you,
wait,
Kanye?
what? Yes.
And as if that wasn't enough,
He's an
because
idiot.
as if that wasn't enough, because that was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
today, today Kanye decided to like tweet a picture of a swastika on Twitter, and even
Why? Oh
because he's
my
a fucking
gosh.
lunatic. Like he has lost his. He's never. I'm sorry. I have never been a fan of Kanye. I think he's a fucking
No,
moron. I
I've
thought.
never been either.
I thought Kim Kardashian was a fucking idiot for marrying him, and I still think she's an idiot, even though she finally left his ass. But like, they're fucking morons. But like, he is like an evil fucking moron. But
Yes.
today he tweeted a swastika, and even though we are now living in the day in which Elon Musk is not so slowly destroying Twitter from the inside out, and it's just burning
Right.
down to the ground, and he's letting everybody come back, including Trump, which, whatever. Kanye, however, has now been banned from Twitter.
Wow. Is that all it takes? Is tweeting a swastika?
Well, I'm sure there's
Jeez.
slightly more to it, but like
I know. No, it's just
it's
ridiculous.
pretty strong. Like there's not much else you can do to scream I'm a white supremacist, but also, hey Kanye, you're not white. You're who they're trying to kill. Do you understand? Like
Apparently not.
at
I
all?
mean,
But yes, so my judge this week is that somehow Alex Jones is the
What timeline? What
better of the
timeline?
two. And I'm like, what the hell? Who thought I'd be here?
And we're like, what timeline is this? This
Right.
is
We have
no.
veered off. Something has happened. We're in a
I
different
know.
timeline again
I
because
know, right.
I'm over here
Did we
going,
die?
fuck
Did we
what?
die? Is that what happened? Did we both die and like go
Yes,
somewhere else?
that's right. We died. And then we just got shifted to the next time. Man, I gotta stop dying because these keep getting fucking weird. Because I'm like, Alex Jones is bad, but tried to be less bad. And I'm very confused by
I
this.
know. Oh wow. That's crazy.
Oh my God. So, yeah. So,
I'm gonna have to go look this up and
yes.
watch it.
So that's
Yeah.
what happened this week, in
Nice.
case you missed it. So that's my judge that somehow. No, I still fucking hate Alex Jones. He's still a fucking idiot. And like he shouldn't even be allowed to have a show anymore. This shouldn't
I
have
know,
happened.
right?
But
It's like, man, you're a liar. You just lie all the time.
but there are a few things that can bring my ice cold heart joy. But I didn't say watching, I listened. But listening to his voice change as he's trying desperately to get Kanye to step back the ridiculous bullshit he's saying was pretty amazing.
Nice.
I was like, okay, all right, here we are. So that is my judge.
Nice. I appreciate that. Yes. Excellent.
Which brings us to potentially equally as evil, but not
I
always.
mean,
It really just
fair.
kind of depends on the mood, man.
Fair.
Brings us to our topic of the day, the Fae.
Oh, the Fae.
Now, I will say I don't believe I have had any interactions with the Fae, at least not any that I'm aware of, but
I don't think so.
I
Yeah.
I have always held the belief that you don't fuck with the Fae, and these the stuff that I've come across really reinforced that for me. So
Right. Not only that, it was just like I was unaware that there were so many creatures out there that all get looped into
right, like I thought Fae was
Fae.
like their own little
I
group
did
of
too.
like with like a few little sprinkles
Right.
of things. Like brownies, I
Right.
assumed were just Fae, but maybe like a specific kind of Fae. But like
Right.
whatever. Anyway, I will turn it over to you, Claire. Tell
Yes.
us all about the Fae.
So yeah, I'm just gonna like do like an introductory thing into Fae because I was like April, I was unaware that there were so many things that were classified as Fae. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, this is bigger than what I thought it was. But yeah. Um so the Fae, as far as like the country, that it comes from like all over. That it says that they're developed independently in a number of cultures, including
Mm-hmm.
Slavic, English, Persian, French, German, and Celtic. So it's like they're not just like one. They're
Yeah.
all over. They're universal. But yeah, they're. I know everybody thinks the Fae is the same as fairies, but fairies are included in the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But legends were told about mysterious creatures that lived out of sight long before the internet put them on there. Before the internet was found and
before Al Gore made the internet.
yes, before Al Gore invented the internet.
Thank
Yes.
you, Al Gore.
Yeah. But they're often said to be spirits of a trickster nature and they like to play tricks on humans. But this is where it gets bad. They can be violent and they don't really have a moral compass. So they don't really see good or evil. It's just
Convenient for them.
kind of what they want to do in the moment
It's like I
that
feel like
makes
doing
them.
this, so we're just doing this. That's
I
fine.
mean, yeah, it's true. And people have been telling stories about the Fae, forever. Since
Yeah.
the dawn of time. But also known as fairies with an E,
Mm-hmm.
Faeries. Um, they are supernatural creatures who appear to be as ancient as any pagan deity. and they manifest during pivotal points in one's life and live in liminal places, like an area where two worlds connect, like the forest, also known as like the other world.
The other world.
Yes. And yeah, the other world or fairyland is what the interwebs
Fairyland
tell me.
sounds nice.
I
It's
know.
I don't know if it is.
Right. And sometimes they live beneath a hill or a mound. It's just, I don't know. There are lots of different things. And I'm just like, wow, this is hurting my head. There's so much here. Um, they can live forever, but they can be killed. So if some outside force doesn't kill them, they are technically immortal, but you can kill them.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Time
like,
won't kill them, but other things can.
but
Got it.
outside forces can. But they also can choose to become mortal if they want.
Why would anyone choose that?
I don't know. Love, April. It's love. No, I
Well,
don't
I don't think they can do
know.
that, but okay.
And they can change, well, and I think this is it too. They can change their physical forms at will, some of them. And so I feel like if they could change their physical form and they like became human and fell in love, I don't know. Anyway, like,
Interesting.
we don't know.
Interesting.
But we often view, because we think of fairies. I think when you think of the fae, it's
I
always like
mean, we
fairy.
think of Tinkerbell, let's be real. Like
Yes,
it's
yeah,
Tinkerbell.
yes, and that they're often viewed as beings of light and goodness, but they're really not. That's a lie.
I know.
It's not
Disney
Tinkerbell.
Disney has lied to us, okay?
Yes,
That
yeah,
they're not gonna like give us some pixie dust and be like, here you go, make some wishes and you can fly.
right. But it also says that they really don't have an interest in human affairs.
Hmm.
So,
I mean,
I
I
mean,
wouldn't either if I weren't human. So
right,
fair. That's
right,
completely
right.
fair, you know.
And so it's like sometimes they'll bother us, like if they're just curious. They're like, "Oh, I'll get involved because I just want to meddle." I don't know. It's just like, what? Let's see. And so it says the Fae lived in secluded communities and are ruled by a powerful royal family. So each little separate community has its own little royal family that like rules over it, which I was like, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this? Oh, I didn't tell you. My sources are worldhistory.org. This one website by this atheist pagan woman called the peculiarbrunette.com
Oh,
and
nice, nice.
Wikipedia. Her website was very extensive on all things. It was like,
Oh,
oh, this is interesting. Interesting.
she sounds like someone we'd like.
But yeah, okay, yeah. The Fae do not age, similar to other living beings. As true immortals, they can potentially live forever and will not die of old age. Instead, the physical age of the Fae is dependent on their mental maturity and social status. In the Fae community, the appearance of old age is a symbol of status and power and source of respect. So
Hmm.
yeah. But they're all very pretty. It's like the ability to possess extraordinary beauty and be highly desirable and enticing to others.
Ooh,
Like,
fancy.
I know, right? And they have it says the ability to mentally perceive information from the minds of others and transmit thoughts from one mind to another. So they're telepathic. And they can manipulate light. So like that was the thing. It was like if you happen to be like walking somewhere and you see something like off in the distance and it like the shiny thing that could be and it's not there. Like when you actually look at it, like you see it out the corner of your eye and then you look
Mm-hmm.
and it's not there, that's the Fae.
I'm
It's
telling
like
you, that whole
they're everywhere.
I feel like we have been lied to our whole lives about like the next life because like there's a bright light and you go into the light. Don't go into the light, guys. Stay
No,
away from the light. The
don't.
light is bad in every story other than that one. So
Right,
it's a
right.
lie. They're just trying to get you to go get taken by the Fae. Stay away.
Oh here, I love this. Like this is only how the Fae dies. Not like normal people can die this way. They can be killed by decapitation.
Well, I mean,
Or they can be
All right.
killed by ripping their hearts from their bodies.
I mean, most things die in both of those ways, so okay. Okay.
Right. So then you also have like trooping fairies, and they usually travel in large groups, and they like to party, and they are like the festival kind of fairies,
Mm-hmm.
and they're always like looking for levity, drunkenness,
Ah,
all
nice,
that kind of
nice.
stuff. But let's see, there is also my papers. There are solitary fairies, and they just like to be on their own.
So you're
Hence
telling me that
hence
there
solitary.
are extroverts and introverts in
Yes.
theory. Okay, because I'm like, I don't I don't really want to hang out with a big group of people and just like party all the time. I'm solitary.
Right.
I'm like, leave me alone.
And they're seen less frequently because they don't care.
Right? They're like,
They
stay
don't
away.
care about humans, unlike the trooping fairies who are like, I want to go get drunk, and
Let's go mess with some
I don't care if
humans.
they see me.
Right.
But the solitary fae, they're just very much like, leave me alone. They like to live in caves and pits and ditches and all that kind of stuff. So,
I feel like I
but
would be a
anyway,
good cave dweller, so it's fair. It's fair.
right. But this is where I was like, this is interesting. There are lots of creatures that are classified as fae,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just there's a long list here. Um, so like banshees,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which obviously are like Celtic.
Harbingers of Doom, if you recall.
Yes. Um, bogarts, boggarts, however you
It's
say
like
that.
Boggart, Claire. I know you know how to say
Boggarts,
that because
boggart,
I
the
apologize.
bogart. No, boggarts.
It's Humphrey Bogart.
It
Is
is
a fae. Oh my
Humphrey
god!
Bogart is a fae. You all did not
All
know
this
that.
time.
He became mortal. No, I'm kidding.
It explains so much. Okay.
It does. No. Brownies, changelings. Which when I saw this, I was like, oh, I should have done my story on changelings.
Mm-hmm. Next time. Next
Yes,
time.
because there's a good true crime story about that. Dryads, elves, gnomes. The Lady of the Lake is a
Well,
fae.
well, but that's because the Lady of the Lake is a naiad, right? She's a water.
I think so.
So that is fair.
Leprechauns. Leprechauns.
I feel like leprechauns are going to come at you for saying that. And I base that because in something I read that is not included in my stories, someone was talking about how like their own personal experience with the Fae was that on a piece of property that they have, there was a at the bottom of a hill. There's a place where the fairy Fae would come
Yes.
out and they would fight the leprechauns, and they were having like a battle over the land or something ridiculous. And I'm like,
Huh.
they fight each other. So
Well,
I
maybe
get
because fairies, I think fairies are their own like thing,
right,
and
right, right.
leprechaun, but they're both considered like under the big umbrella of fae.
Sure, sure, sure,
But
sure.
anyway, so mermaids, nymphs, pixies, salamanders.
What?
Yeah, that's what this says. Salamanders.
But
Will o' the wisp.
oh, those are the ghost lights that try and kill
Those are
you,
the
man.
ones. Yes, those are
Don't
the ones
follow
that
the
you were
light.
like,
Don't go after the light. You know, I now regret all of my childhood trying to get lightning bugs because they could have just been will-o-wisps trying to lure me to my death. So, just saying.
that is incredibly true. You've been like, don't follow the light.
Stay when you see the light, go the other way. Choose darkness. It's safer.
Right? So I want to talk to you about changelings because this one is like what
Mm-hmm.
really is like, ooh, I like this one. Um, they are the kind of more creepy part of like Fae mythology. Um, they're like according to legend, a changeling is a fairy child that has been swapped for a human child. And so any of these stories you've heard about parents like losing their kid and then getting the
Mm-hmm.
kid back and they're like, that's not my kid.
So it's
That's
oh
an
my god.
example of the changeling. And they'll continue to grow up with the human parents, but they don't really look like the parents. And you're like, did you adopt this kid? I mean,
Oh
like
my
what?
God. Prince Harry.
He's a
He's a
changeling.
changeling.
But it says that fairies like to swap the babies, their babies, for human babies, because usually they have a sick child
Mm-hmm.
and they want a healthy child. So they trade their sickly baby for a healthy human baby. And then they say usually the kid, once the kid that the humans have, their fey child,
Mm-hmm.
that they don't know is a fey child, will either die or just grow up sickly and be like one of those sick people the rest of their lives.
Am I a fae?
I don't know. Are you?
I've been sick for the last several weeks.
But it says that they're usually like beautiful in their sickliness, I
Are
guess.
you telling me I'm not beautiful? I'm beautiful.
But they're artistic and they have fairy features, even though they may be unhealthy. So they got like more pointy ears.
Well, you've never seen my ears. I hide them
I
behind
know you're like, that's why I wear my hair down all the time.
my pointy ears.
It says other fairies swap their babies because they want a beautiful human child and they
Mm-hmm.
think their own child is ugly. So,
Mm.
and they also want to, like the sickly kid, they want to strengthen their bloodline with
Right.
get
Mm-hmm.
rid of the sickly child and get like a healthy kid to take its place. So, and sometimes a fairy will need a talent that only a human child possesses. I
Hmm.
don't know what that is.
Interesting.
Because it's like you're a fucking fairy, you can fly. I don't know what can humans offer you? I don't know.
Some witty banter. I don't know.
Right, right. But it says, of course, changelings are rare if they really exist anymore. the,
If
listen, the development of technology has made the practice of swapping babies dangerous for fairies. Is it
I just feel
technology?
like
Is it
they're not.
technology that made it dangerous? Is that what it is?
I feel like they have magic, so can't they just magic through technology? That's the reason why the damn wheelchair ramp thing doesn't work. Is because the fairies fucked with it.
Right, probably. Or the gremlins inside the machinery, whatever.
They're fey. It's all the same. Everything's fey.
Yes. And it says it was unclear if changelings ever truly existed or if this was a way to explain infant mortality rates in medieval times. Like, oh, all the babies are dying.
It's a
But
fey
anyway,
child.
yes. So anyway, that's my story on the Fae. It's just it was a lot and it's just there was more and I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
God, this is hurting my head. There was so much to it. And then you were like, "Oh, I'm going to talk about like the mounds and stuff." I'm like, "Okay, so I don't really want to talk about
Oh yeah.
mushroom
Mm-hmm.
circles
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot since you were doing that." But yeah, they're very much like what's the word I'm looking for? Not, is it Wiccan? Is it like is that the people who are like into like the wood spirits and like as
Um,
far as
are
religious?
you looking for druid?
Maybe that's it. Druids.
Druids? The
Yeah.
Celtics?
Yeah, something like that. They're very
Mm.
much into that, you know. We're going to live in the forest and be one with nature.
Can you be one with nature and one with the fae?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Oh, but I did read something. I think it was in that blog, that peculiar brunette. If you do come across the Fae, don't say things like please and thank you. They don't like that.
Well, I'm fucked because like I can't. I, poor people who like because in the Pacific Northwest they're not the South, so
Right.
they don't have it ingrained like we do, where it's like please and thank you and blah blah
Yeah.
blah and have a nice day. So like every time I like pick up food at a drive-through or something, or literally anything, I'm like please, and I'm like oh thank you
Yes,
so much, and they're like yeah.
it's true. But yeah, it was like don't say things like please or thank you because it makes them think that you owe them something. It was very weird.
No, boo.
You're like, no,
I don't
absolutely
want to get
not.
into that nonsense. That's scary. That's some sketchy
Right.
ground.
But it was something like that. It was like, don't say things that you normally would say. I'm like, okay. So don't. So yeah, if you're outside and you see like a mushroom circle, don't ever like just
Dude,
ignore
right.
it and walk away.
Yeah. 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 In fact, I saw that meme. It was like a children's play set or whatever, and it's like the slide where you would slide down to the bottom. There was a ring of mushrooms that had grown up around it, and everyone was like, "Oh hell no! Don't be touching that shit.
Oh yeah, it's
Don't be
like
going
do
down that
not.
slide. That's not
Mm-mm,
gonna work out for you. No, no. Mm-mm. The fake claimed it. Run
nope.
away." And I'm like, "I'm out."
It's like nope, nope, nope. It says it's important to understand you form a relationship when working with the Fae, which why would you want to do that? No, just walk away.
Hmm.
It says, and with any relationship, there is always give and take. They can be beneficial to your spirituality as long as you respect them. So
But you
yeah,
don't
be
say thank you
respectful.
or please.
Yeah. It says, don't offer to help or give anything until you've established a connection or relationship. If you don't know them or haven't made a connection, don't ask them to interfere in your affairs. It's not a game, and the Fae may ruin everything. So
Hmm.
proceed with caution.
Wow.
I know. It's like, why would you even want to if that's the, you know, eh, it's just like, why? Oh, it says, and if you're offering things up, like, don't add chocolate to your offering.
They don't like chocolate?
Uh-uh. They're sensitive to harming nature or wildlife, and leaving out chocolate can be harmful to certain animals, like dogs that make them a
Oh, like leaving an offering. Okay. Okay. I
right.
guess I can follow that.
They apparently dislike iron greatly.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Glitter is awful for the environment, so please don't give that as an offering either.
Who would what creature
I
would
don't know.
want any glitter is the herpes of the craft world. You can't fucking get
Yeah.
rid of that shit. It's forever,
Oh, and
man.
it
No one
says
wants that.
don't cut flowers and place them in a vase. They view that as disgraceful.
They're very picky.
They are
They don't like
picky.
flowers. They don't like chocolate. Like the fuck is wrong with them?
Right. Right.
Damn. Hmm.
But it was like if you do, I mean, it's basically like plant seeds and flower, grow trees and flowers. Fruit is a good offering. Pick up the trash. Let them know you care. Build a fairy house for them.
Mm-hmm.
Herbal teas.
Are they
Uh,
anti-caffeine too? My God,
you
guys.
can sing to them. Dance along to music. They like
Oh,
that too. Oh,
well
they
then they
also
hang
like
out.
they like dark coffee. So those things are okay.
Dark coffee. Ooh.
Right.
I.
But yeah, they're very persnick from what I'm reading. They're very persnickety creatures,
It
and
sounds
it's
so.
like yeah.
Hmm.
But it says some of them live by the sea, which I mean, I guess would be like you said, the water nymph things. So they are all over, but they're all very in tune with nature.
Hmm. Well, I mean, we aren't, so I'm glad someone is.
And it says you can't command a fae to cooperate with you more than you can make an animal engage with you. You must understand that not all fae will like you, like most humans. Don't be offended and keep your expectations in check.
Very nice.
But yeah. So yeah, basically tread carefully if you are
Oh
gonna
boy.
gonna try to get into
And
contact with the fae.
do I have some of those stories?
Oh, people who did not tread carefully.
Yes. Oh yes. Okay. This is a nice segue into my stories.
Yes.
Okay, so I will tell you that I did get some information from Wikipedia and from IrishTimes.com and AncientOrigins.net, but uh, a couple of these stories I got from the Irish. They have a special name. I'm not Irish, and I quit trying to look up things because
Right.
it was weak, guys. So
It's a lot.
you're just gonna have to just trust us. But
Yeah,
there are,
there were a lot more in my
yeah.
list of the Fae that had like the very Celtic names, and I'm like,
It's like I'm not
I
ready
don't
for
even know.
this. But there is a special name for Irish storytellers. It's like a Sinshan or something, but I don't
Uh-huh.
I didn't hear it enough to say it correctly.
Right.
And so one incredibly famous from County Clare, yay, County Clare,
Yay.
is a gentleman named Eddie Lanihan, and he is incredibly famous. And we recently at the library had a professional storyteller come who told one of the stories I'll be telling that he heard originally from Eddie Lanihan, and
Oh,
his name
nice.
is Will Hornyak. I want to give them their names in here because these are not my stories.
Yes.
I don't
Uh-huh.
have any idea where they came from. I can't find them because it's hard to search for stories like these, even with the Google. So,
I know that was another thing. There was like trying
mhm.
to like search Fae on Google. It kept me, do you mean like
Yes, I
this
know.
or
It's
do
like,
I'm
no,
like,
I don't
no.
mean. God damn it, Google, get the picture. Nah, it's fine.
Right.
But so I'm going to focus on fairy forts, um, also known as fairy circles. Sometimes they're called that. And so what they are, and I thought I wrote this down, but apparently I didn't. So that's fun.
You're like me. You're like,
Like I wrote it down.
I thought I copy and pasted that into my story, but I didn't.
Oh, okay. There it is. It just wasn't where I thought it was. I wrote my notes for the first
Mm,
time. I usually type them so that I can move stuff around easier.
right.
But so you mentioned them before. They are often earthen dwellings. They're mounds in otherwise flattish landscape. Often there'll be like a trench or something dug around it, or something like that. But they can also be a ring of trees or mushrooms or shrubbery or
I had one in my yard last summer or the summer before. It was just like I had a ring of mushrooms in my
mm,
front yard, and I was like, "Okay, not touching that."
don't touch that shit. If you
I
come
know
across
better.
them, and I mean, like, and it, because like you can look, we'll throw up some pictures, obviously, but like there are some that are like you can tell, oh, probably some ancient peoples had an earthen dwelling of some kind, and this is the remnant,
Right,
or it was used as a storehouse of some kind, or something like that. And you're like, oh, I can see that, like it's an actual mound, and it looks
right.
very distinct. But sometimes it's just a ring of shrubbery or trees or things that just you're like wandering around and there's nothing, and all of a sudden there's just like a perfect circle of trees, and you're like, don't go in the circle,
Yeah,
don't
don't.
get near the circle, don't fuck with that circle, don't touch that circle. You leave that shit alone, and everyone in Ireland knows it, okay? It's not like some weird, like your great grandma was weird about a circle. Like they literally build roads around them because
Right.
they're
They're
like,
like,
we don't want to fuck
we
with
don't
that.
disturb this. No, no,
No.
no.
So there are several stories, and I'm gonna just give you a couple here. So there was a man who decided that he was going to quote unquote interfere with a fairy fort because he was like, fuck this shit. I'm done. I don't care. I
He's
got
like,
things to do.
I give zero fucks about your fairy fort.
And so
I do what I
like
want.
his neighbors were like, you don't do this.
They're
Don't
like,
mess with
maybe
this.
don't do that. Yeah.
And like it's really funny because as it was explained by Eddie Lanahan, it's you don't want to say too much and you don't want to be too involved because then you're involved and the Fae
Right.
will come after you too, even though all you were doing is being like, no, don't. But so they were being like, are
Right.
you sure that's such a good idea?
Yeah.
Because like he knew. This guy knew. He knew better. Everyone knows better. Everyone.
So he just didn't believe,
He just was like,
or he just
whatever.
didn't care. I
He's
mean,
like, whatever, that's not real. I'm done with it. So like he's like, fuck that shit. So he levels it. He
uh,
gets there's no more fairy fort. And he has 3 daughters. And soon after he leveled it, all 3 daughters suddenly get very sick.
uh-oh.
And they get so sick that they send for a doctor. And a doctor comes and he can't explain why they're sick. They just keep getting worse. And so eventually they get sent to hospital. So not like old times here, like hospital time still.
Right.
So they get sent to the hospital and all 3 daughters end up dying. 2 of them die laughing
What?
and one of them dies crying. It's just,
That's
and
that's
they never
bizarre.
figured out what it was. And so, the so in Ireland there are of course Catholic priests, but there are also a lot of Franciscan friars from the Franciscan
Yeah.
whatever.
Hmm.
And so they sent for a friar because they prefer the friars because the friars are much more understanding and
Less
really
judgy.
well, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. And so they sent
Unlike us.
for the local friar who basically was like, you knew what you were getting into and you leveled the fort. You have to accept the punishment that they dole out.
He was like, I have zero sympathy
He was, and
for
it was
you,
like,
sir.
he was like, you knew better and you did it anyway, and there was a punishment. This is the price you paid. So, all right then. And I'm like, fuck what?
I know. This friar is like, look, dude, I have zero sympathy for you.
Yeah,
Zero.
basically.
Zilch
He
nada.
was like, look, your daughters are all dead now. It's true. But you knew that you were going to invoke the wrath of the Fae when you fuck with their fort because you knew better. Because everyone
Right.
knows better. So, like, do better. Like, what are you? Hell. All right. So, the next story I'm going to tell you is a terrible, I never could find it anywhere else. I've only heard this story once. So, it's probably not going to be accurate. Just saying.
Yay.
And it certainly
What do
won't
we
be.
what do we care about accuracy? Pshaw.
And it certainly won't be as well told as it was told to me, for I am not a professional storyteller yet. Maybe that's a life goal? Mm.
Hashtag goals.
But so there's this, it's also in County Clare. All of the things happen in County Clare. I need you to understand that.
So does that mean I need to go there or don't need to go there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes to both.
Oh, and I found that instead of saying please or thank you, you need to say things like I appreciate you and you are so kind. Like those kind of
Got it.
things
Okay.
fly better with them than please and thank you.
I appreciate you.
You are so kind.
You are so kind.
Yes.
And then just blink.
Yep. And just stare at them like
So it was apparently Ireland is divided into 4 sections or whatever. And
quadrants.
quadrants, yeah,
Is
actually.
that the word?
And so like each quadrant has its own kind of I guess like attributes or things that are associated with them. And
So it's like the
county
4 Hogwarts houses, is that what we're saying?
Oh, you know what? Kind of. Yeah. 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 And so County Clare is in an area in which it's just, you know, there's more strange things there, I guess. More liminal. It's a more liminal area.
There
Easier
you go.
to pass through the bounds.
Dimensions. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And so, in this story, it is a nice small town, and everybody's just living their normal daily life in Ireland. It's I think like 1800s ish when this is set, and a cobbler comes through town, as in the guy that makes shoes.
Yes.
For those that don't know, not people who make really nice, tasty desserts.
A shoe cobbler. Okay,
He's a
gotcha.
shoe cobbler, and he comes into town, and he's looking for some land to rent. And so he goes to a couple of houses, and he's like, "Oh, do you have any land to rent?" And they're like, "No, no, we don't. But you can try. I don't know what family it was. We'll call them the McIntyres because I don't
You don't
fucking
remember names.
I don't remember. Oh, that's fine. Um, and so he goes to this family, and they're they're busy. They got things to do, and they're like, "We don't have what." And so the guy's like, the man of the house is like, "You know what? We do have land to rent, but I'll make a deal with you." It's like, and the cobbler's like, "Okay." He's like, "There's only one piece of land that we have, and I'll rent it to you sight unseen." And the cobbler's like, "Well, no one else seems to have any land to rent, so sure, 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 that's fine." And it's like,
Right.
here's, it's $5 for him to rent this land. And so he gives him $5. And then the man of the house takes him to this piece of land, and right in the middle of it is what now, Claire? What's right in the middle of this land? Well, obviously it's a
A
fucking fairy
fairy
fort.
mound. I was gonna say a fairy mound.
Oh, yes. And so it is a ring of the specific tree that I've already forgotten. I want to say it's hawthorn, but that's probably not right. But we're going to say it's hawthorn because I don't remember. And it is very obvious what it is. And the
And
cobbler,
it's like, and that's why I rented you that land.
yes. And so like,
Because
you
I'm a
know,
dick.
the guy's like, "Ha ha ha, here it is, cobbler." And he's like,
Ugh.
"Well, if this is what you have, this is what you have." And so he sets to work. He starts tilling the land because he's wanting to plant some potatoes because I guess it's Ireland. I remember it's potatoes. That is true. That is a true, accurate part of the story because it's stuck in my mind of, really? Sure. So he
So
rents.
that's not your stereotype.
That is
That's the
not my
story.
stereotype.
That's the
That is
story stereotype.
100% was told to me because I held on to that memory because I was like, "Oh yeah, Ireland potatoes. This seems
Right.
legit. This seems legit." So he gets to work. He's selling the land, and he gets an axe. And everyone's like, "Oh, hell's bells." So, like, word quickly spreads through this small town. Because, again, these are all good Irish folk who know better. You don't fucking mess. You don't touch fairy forts. You just leave that shit alone.
Right.
And so they're kind of like coming along and be like, "What you doing, cobbler?"
What are you doing with that axe? What are you
And
gonna do?
he's like, "I'm going to cut down these hawthorn trees." And they're like, "I don't
Think
That's
you
not a
got
great
him.
idea. I don't think I would do that." And like some of them even realize, because I told you they tend to not get too involved, but some of them were even like,
Right.
you don't know what you're gonna get into. I mean, it's like they are gonna be angry, and he's like, "I don't believe in that. That is absolute garbage. You guys, there's no
Ah.
such thing as fae. You gotta stop. It's just trees that grew in a circle. There's probably something here a long time
And
ago.
you're like,
Not a big deal."
but is it?
And
Is
so
it? Do we want to test that? I mean,
like
is it worth
they
it?
they wait and they watch, and he takes the axe and he hits the tree the first time, thwack, and they all just go, like looking around, kind of thing, because they're like, "Oh shit," and nothing happens. So he does it again, thwack, nothing happens. He eventually chops down that first tree, and nothing happens. They watch him as he chops down all of the trees. They watch him as he tills up all of the stumps.
Oh boy.
They watch him as he plants his potatoes. And they're like, "They're gonna get you." And he's like, "They can go right ahead. What are they gonna do? Come take my skin or something? Like, whatever. These potatoes
Oh
are gonna grow."
no, don't say that.
And so, like, he was basically like having a good time planting his potatoes. And so time goes by, and like the townspeople kind of talk about it every once in a while, but it's mostly kind of left their thought. But they're thinking, when it comes time for harvest, we'll see what happens. Those potatoes are going to be, they're going to be absolute garbage, right? Because the Fae are angry. So harvest time comes, and people are starting to harvest their potatoes, and they get word that the cobbler is getting ready to harvest his potatoes. So again, small town. There's nothing else to do, guys. It's the
We're gonna
1800s.
go watch
There's
this potato.
very little activity. There's not like a cool community theater doing a show. They're gonna go
Right.
watch this guy and see what happens to the dude that they know he's pissed off the Fae. And so they go up and they watch him, and he starts to dig up a potato, and he's like starting to uncover it, and he's having a hard time getting it up. And like, oh, here it is. Here's our vindication. Here's the retribution. And he pulls up the biggest, juiciest, plumpest, most perfect potato that any of them have ever fucking seen. And they're like, holy fucking hell, what's going on? And all of his potatoes are like that. Every single one
Oh.
he pulls up, they're huge, they're plump, they're perfect potatoes. And they're just like, what is going on? They're very confused. Cobbler's fine, everybody's fine. And they're like, okay. So they all go back to their homes. And then a few days later, they realize they haven't seen the cobbler in town. And they're like, what's he doing? Because, he's obviously up to no good. He's nefarious. He's doing all sorts
Right.
of shady shit. So,
And they're nosy neighbors.
well,
So.
yes. Again, small town. There's nothing to do. I get it. I
Right.
get it. It's the outsider, fucking with the Fae. You gotta watch him. And so,
True
they
that.
kind of ask around. It's like no one's seen him, and they start talking. And so a couple of people go up into his house, and they're like knocking on the door, and they don't get an answer. And they're like, "Uh-oh, this feels bad." So they let themselves in because there are no locks, and that's fine. And so they go in, and they find the cobbler, and he is in his bed, and he is moaning, and he looks like absolute shit. He's all shriveled up. He looks super old, like he aged like 500 years overnight. And so they're trying to give him water, and they're trying to help him, and every time they touch him, wherever they touch him, his skin just falls off.
Ew, gross.
And so they're like, "Oh my god, what are we gonna do?" Can't so they of course send for their priest or friar, and just to kind of come and help or talk to him. And it's like they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. He can't take care of himself. He can't move. Every movement hurts. He's stuck in this bed, and they don't want to touch him. And so they end up eventually taking him to, this is 1800s for you, to a workhouse where someone at least could be able to take care of him because he doesn't have any
Right.
family. He's all alone. And so they take him to the workhouse, and he just lays in bed moaning, groaning, and people are trying to feed him broth, and every day more of his skin just falls off, and he is just
Ew.
red and gross and sore, and he just starts crying out in pain and misery, and he's like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have cut down the trees. I shouldn't have cut down the trees. And then he died. So you don't fuck with the Fae.
That's right. Because he said, they can take my skin. We all saw where this was
Yeah,
going.
it was as soon as the storyteller
He
said that, I was
told
just
them.
like,
He
oh,
told them what to
hell,
do.
he did.
He told
And
the
they were
Fae,
like,
this is how you're going to kill me.
oh, hey, cool story, bro. We're gonna let you cut down these trees. We're gonna let you plant your seeds. We're gonna give you the juiciest, plumpiest, best looking potatoes that have ever been, and then we're gonna take your skin. Because that's how the Fae are.
Because we're psychopaths.
So those are my two, as told to me by other storyteller stories, about how you don't fuck with Fae and their little fairy forts. But there is a modern day story. There is a guy by the name of Sean Quinn. Lol. Which, just in case you're wondering, is spelled Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like Quinn. Mm-hmm. And he
The
is
normal
the
spelling of
the huge
Quinn.
spelling, the easy for me to read spelling. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so he's not dead. He is an Irish businessman, and this is a word. Are you ready for it? Conglomerateur.
What?
Conglomerateur. I guess he's a entrepreneur of conglomerates. I don't know. It's weird.
I know. I was like, wait, whoa, 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 what? I was like, I know
Conglomerateur.
what conglomerate is, but it's just like,
Hmm.
what?
And in 2008, Claire, he was the richest person in all of Ireland.
Oh, well.
But then
Did he do something
he
stupid?
did something fucking stupid.
Ah, of
So
course he
he
did.
decided, I really want to move this stone fairy mound because they can be made out of all sorts of things. I'm going to
Yes,
move
they
this
can.
stone fairy fort from its location to another location because I want it at my cool new hotel that I've built.
Mm.
How well do you think that went for him, Claire?
I'm gonna say not at all.
Well, so
I'm gonna say that that did not go well for him at all.
so he ended up filing for bankruptcy in 2011.
Wow. So when did he move it? What year did he move it?
It didn't say,
Okay. I'm
but
just saying because you said that he was the richest person in 2008.
he
So
was
like
the
in
richest
less
person
than
in 2008.
so like in
Hmm
less than 3 years
hmm
he was filing for bankruptcy. Okay.
The the hotel in which he moved his fairy fort did not succeed. Everything kind of failed from there. It was like the epicenter of his failure, and so like the people of Ireland believe that the reason that he lost all of his money and filed for, like, and
It's because of the fairy fort.
the
They're
statement that
saying
he
this right
made,
here.
yeah, and the statement that Sean Quinn made was that when he filed for bankruptcy is that he didn't even have, he said he had maybe $11,000 in his account after everything, which
Wow.
after being the richest man, and you're like, oh my god.
All
So
because you moved a fairy fort.
yep. Hmm
Ooh, son. Mm.
They are vindictive, vicious little creatures. But, as you said, Claire, they aren't always all bad, just complicated.
Right, right.
So, there is a fairy ring called the Ring of, it looks like Wrath, Rath. It's probably Roth or probably something that doesn't make any sense at all,
Wraith.
quite honestly, because it's Irish and sometimes things go together in a weird and unusual way. But it is on the border of Wicklow and Carlow. So, in case you're looking for it. And they say that if you go to the Ring of Wraith, sure,
Oh, sorry. It's
whatever.
raining really loud. I could hear it over my headphones, and I was like,
Oh,
what is this noise? And I'm like, oh, it's rain.
I'm jealous. We don't get rain like that here. Heartbreak. But if you go to the Ring of Wraith at certain times of the year, you can get some help from the fairy folk. So perhaps you can't conceive a child and you actually want to, which whatever.
No thanks, but whatever.
You can Couples can go there and they can ask for help, which to me sounds like a really bad idea based on the whole changeling thing, but whatever.
Also, like if they're going in a more
Whatever.
tricky mood,
Right?
like if you're like, oh, I want a kid, and then they bless you with like triplets, like no,
Right?
something like I
Mhm.
could see something like that happening. Like,
They also, if you're someone who just wants to get married and you just haven't had luck in love, you can go and you can ask for their help as well. And if they grant your wish, then you'll be married within a year. I'm like, oh, okay.
that seems
And
really fast, but whatever. I guess.
I'm with you, but maybe they're not as crazy as we are here, and they're just like, let's get married. Okay.
Right. Like, okay, fine.
We'll just go up to the courthouse and get married. If you are a musician and you want to be a better musician with otherworldly skill,
Uh,
then you can go to the Ring of Wraith and you can sleep there. And when you wake up, you are suddenly, and have better musician skills. It's a weird one. A weird one.
so you just sleep there?
Apparently.
Huh.
Which again feels like a bad idea. So here's the other thing. They can be doorways into the furry world. They're not always doorways, which is
Right.
complicated, but they can be. And there is a book at the library that I would tell you the title of, but I couldn't find. This is the fairy folk fucking with me. I picked it up yesterday and flipped through it and like skimmed it some little bits, and then I stuck it back on the shelf to get put back out where it belongs. And I went today to find it, and it wasn't there.
Well,
And the odds of somebody checking that book out are slim to none. So I'm
right.
like, fairy folk? Are you fucking with me? Because it was talking about specific places that were known entrances into Fey world at some time. They were currently defunct because the author felt like she couldn't tell you how to get there because that is not safe. You don't need to know.
Oh,
But like some of them had like weird rules of like only certain, for like 30 minutes after midnight of a full moon or only
gotcha.
on certain days of the year, and you had to have like
It's
a
very
coin in
specific.
every pocket in order to go through. Like some of them were very specific. Um Others less so, just right time. So it's
Right.
possible that you accidentally stumble into the fairy world um, through these fairy forts or through other
Ooh,
entrances that you aren't expecting to be an
yikes.
entrance to another world.
I don't know that I'd want to go to the fairy world. I'm just saying.
Same,
I would
because
be
it
like,
seems like there were stories of like some people would go and they'd come back with like fun stories. Like in one story, a little girl went missing and the whole town searched for her for 3 days, and then suddenly she just appears in the place that they'd already been looking, and she just was there, and she talked about being carried away by the little red people and how she had a nice little walk in this magical place, and but like no time had passed for her or whatever, and she's like, I just was gone a minute, kind of a thing.
yeah.
And they're like, fuck, fuck, fuck. But then other times, like a woman had also been missing, and she'd been missing for like 3 weeks, I want to say, when she came back, and like she came back talking about like she had been in this other world, but it was not a good experience, and like she like cried and cried and cried for like
Right.
several days and freaked
Oh
out
my
before
gosh.
she
My
came
story about
back.
the haunted forest in Romania. It's the Fae.
That's what the damn circle is, Claire. People go in the
Yes.
damn circle. It's one
People
big
are going
giant
in the
fairy
circle. There's
parade.
no these people disappear and then came back like 5 years later. The
Right?
little girl, it's the Fae.
It's the Fae. They fuck with you, man. And so, like, some people have good experiences and some people have not good experiences at all.
Right.
So, like, there's no. In fact, one famous story, is that there were two twin brothers and they were both unattractive and they both had humps on their back that caused them to have to, like, bend over
Uh-huh.
to walk. And one day, one of the twins went walking and he accidentally stumbled into the fairy world. And they were so nice to him. They fixed his hump. They removed his hump and they fixed his face, and he was beautiful. And so when he comes back to his brother, he's telling him, it's like, because we're like, what happened to you? Your hump is gone. You're
You're
hot
like, you
now. What's
look
going
great.
on? What'd you do? And he's like, the fairy, or whatever. And so the other twin went out and he found the fae and into the fairy world, and they abused him and kicked him, and they put his brother's hump on his hump So on his back, so he now had 2 humps, and they disfigured his face when he came out. He
Oh
was even
no.
worse off for no reason. There was no reason.
Right.
One wasn't good and one and bad. It was just no reason because they don't really have morals. They just do what the fuck they feel like doing at the time.
Right.
But so if you do find your way into the fairy world and you don't want to be there, it's not a good place. There are things that you can do to come back out. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take off your coat. You best be fucking wearing a coat, by the way. Always wear a coat. You take your coat off and then you put it back on inside out. Okay? Okay.
And okay.
Then,
Coat inside out.
yes. Then you're going to take your left shoe and you're going to put it on your right foot. You're going to put your right shoe
Ooh.
on your left foot. You're going to do it. You're going to do it, okay? It's very important. And then after you do that, you're going to spin around 3 times.
Okay.
And then you're going to get out.
Which way?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Because I know sometimes it's like, oh, only clockwise, or oh, only counterclockwise.
No, it doesn't matter because the Fae fear madness and they think that it's contagious. So if you do that, they think you're mad and they want you out. Like, get the fuck out of here, you mad creature.
Because you're wearing your shoes on the wrong feet, and okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you don't have a coat, would your shirt suffice?
I mean, I think do whatever it takes to get out. So yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you're not gonna wear a coat all year round. So, if you
I don't know.
happen to
Maybe you
stumble,
should.
like, okay,
Maybe you should just. I mean, it's again. This is mostly Ireland. I assume it's generally chilly there, so just a light jacket will do.
oh yeah, I was just thinking, like, if you didn't have a coat or jacket, it's just your shirt. You turn your shirt wrong side out. Was
I
that
mean, you can try. I don't know. These are the only things that I found.
okay? Gotcha. Noted.
So that is the story of fairy forts and why you should avoid them at all cost. At all cost. Do you understand?
You will
Don't
be in
go.
trouble.
Don't go in. Don't touch them. When you see them, just turn around and walk away. Don't walk through them. If your child starts running and is in the middle of it, leave the child. The child's gone. You can't save that child, okay? It's gone. It's
The
gone now.
lost cause at that
Gone.
point.
It's that child is dead to you because if it comes back, it's not your child anymore. It's a changeling.
And then you're in trouble.
Also, be very careful if you are a new mother or if you're newly married, because those are liminal times in your life. So you are more likely to be taken by the fairies. They don't just take babies, Claire. Did you know? They
Oh, really?
like to take young mothers because they need human mothers, human women to nurse their fairy babies because fairy babies need human milk to survive.
Okay.
And what they do, because they don't want people to necessarily know that you're gone, because then they like freak out. They don't want to deal with that. So
Right.
they will enchant a log, and they will put the enchanted log that now looks like you in your bed.
What?
Yes. The enchanted
The
log.
enchanted log.
The enchanted log that is now looking like you. It is in your bed, and it will appear to slowly decline and get sick until it dies, and then you are mourning the loss of your wife, and it's actually the enchanted log, but you think it's your wife, and so you bury it and you say goodbye, and your wife is trapped in the fairy world nursing fairy babies.
No, that sounds
Yes.
terrible.
Yes. Yes.
Who wants to be trapped in the fairy world nursing babies for all eternity? Not
Well, I mean,
me.
surely it's not all eternity, but like, whatever. But
I still feel
so
like that's yeah.
I love Enchanted Log. That's my favorite. Um, just saying.
Just like
So, that's cool. They do prefer, in case you're concerned, They do prefer human children or women that they're taking to be particularly beautiful and bright. And they prefer them if they're blonde hair and blue or silver eyed because they like how it shines, they like the shimmer.
Not
So,
me.
right, I'm like, I'm fairy. So, you're probably all right. But I did want to say, this is just a random one off. You were talking about changelings, and I wrote
Yes.
this down just so that way I could say this in mind. So, there are of course some famous changeling cases, but we'll save that for another time. But apparently, King Charles the First of England was believed to be a changeling because
What? Of
because
course he was.
because he was peevish in nature as a child, which what the fuck does that mean? But okay.
Like Peeves from
Like
Harry
peas.
Potter.
And his nursemaid, because they
Right.
other women breastfed babies. It's such a the whole thing makes my brain hurt.
Right.
Grosses me out, but whatever. So his nursemaid claimed that a figure appeared mysteriously at his bedside and cast a cloak over sleeping baby Charles's cradle. It was the Fae switching him out because they wanted royal human baby and they left something else.
Wow.
So that means that if you
Which
figure it
Charles was
out,
this?
the first,
The
the
first.
first in,
Okay.
the first in.
There's so many, and I just yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are too many Charles.
There
Just saying.
are. There
Too
are.
many Charles, too many Edwards.
Well, and I feel like I might be wrong because I've already forgotten. So don't at me. But I think that Charles the First was the one whose sons were murdered at the tower because he died. He was in the whole War of the Roses thing. I think that was Charles the First,
Yeah.
right? I feel like that was Charles the
Well,
First.
see, and then I'm like, well, which one had like the weird face?
Also a Charles, Charles the Second of Spain.
Okay, okay, Spain. All right. So
Right. That's this
I'm
is
sure
where I
there
get
wasn't the Charles one with the face and the teeth and the
he
jaw and
yes.
the
Right.
yeah.
Well, I mean, there's probably some weird fairy blood in there, messing everything up.
That's what I was like. Is he not a changeling? Just saying.
But there you have it, guys. Stay away from fairy forts. Don't fuck with them. Don't have
Yeah.
babies because your baby could be changed or you could be changed. So like just don't. It's better to just not. Maybe don't get married either just to be certain, but keep gotta stay safe. Stay safe from the Fae, guys, because they have a twisted sense of humor.
It's true. Constant vigilance.
Vigilance! And there you have it.
All right.
That means it must be time for tarot time with April. Spooky, spooky. Telling me when to stop. I wish I knew like a fun like Fae song. The Fae are coming for you. Don't fuck with the Fae, they'll come for you. They'll take your
Right.
skin to your chagrin. The Fae are coming for you.
Ew. Stop.
I need you to know when I heard that story and like the way I didn't describe it as well as he did, and you're welcome because like it was pretty dark. I mean it was an
Right.
adult. It was a well, it wasn't like adult. It was 14 and up suggested, so no little kids, but I was like, wow, this story took a turn.
Right. You're like, oh shit.
Ah, like they come in at you. Apparently it really wants this card and this card and this card. So we have the good God.
Uh-oh.
We have the Eight of Swords,
Oh, a sword card. Yay.
Of course we do. We have the Chariot, which we've never had.
No, we have not.
And it was very adamant that I flip over the Chariot because it wouldn't let me like separate it again. It wanted the top card and the second card. I was like, okay, fine.
Huh.
And then we have the Page of Coins. So like the Chariot is like really adamant. Just want you to know. And special emphasis on whatever the Chariot is. Because it's like, all right, fine. Fine. Okay. Ten of Swords. Can't be good.
You said Ten of Swords?
Ten
Or
of
eight?
Swords. No, wait.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I said Eight of Swords, didn't I?
I think you said 8 first time, but then you
I
said
said
10.
8. Yes, and then I flipped to 10 and I went, holy hell, it's a guy stabbed with 10 swords. This is bad.
So
But it's not the 10 of swords. It is the 8 of swords.
It is 8. Okay.
8,
All
8, 8 of swords, which looks pretty bad as well. In the classic Rider-Waite Smith deck, it is a woman who is bound, like she's standing up, but she's wrapped in like a binding of some kind. She's blindfolded. She's standing in a puddle, I guess, or dirt. I'm not sure. And there's 8 swords stabbed into the ground around her. It's also raining, so I'm feeling like there's no good things coming from this card.
Gotcha.
In our card, it is a cat, of course, because cat. And he is locked behind. He's locked in prison. He's got a big padlock on there. There's a key dangling, I guess, out of his reach because, you know.
Yeah.
Because prison. So I guess we're going to jail. Let's find out.
Yay.
Oh, okay. Well, again, I told you this card is a woman surrounded by swords. Her hands are bound and she's blindfolded, but her feet are free. If she is careful and if she can conquer her fear, she can walk right out of that cage. So maybe the key is within reach. It's hard to tell on the picture.
Okay.
So,
gotcha.
This card is about being trapped by your own anxiety and allowing anxiety to direct your life. Well, I hate that. It's a pretty serious card, as most of the time, no one on the outside can see what the big deal is. To the woman standing amidst the swords, or in this case, trapped behind bars, the fear is everything. The anxiety she fears and feels in this bleak landscape is stronger than any chain that could hold her, and only she can let the anxiety go. So, gotta reach for that key and let ourselves out. Could be worse.
Okay.
I'll take it.
Noted.
My anxiety. I feel that. I feel all that anxiety screaming at me. All right. The Chariot. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Wait, what? I gotta.
Is it a Chariot of Fire?
No. No, mine do, so I don't understand, but we'll skip that part. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. No obstacle is too big and no opponent is too strong. There's a lot of passion in this card. That's the key to the Chariot. It's got to matter and it's got to be difficult. If he doesn't have to work for it, what's the point? Okay. This guy owns his own company because he doesn't like having a boss. He says things and expects people to listen. He doesn't wait to see if they take his advice. He knows that they will, or they will fail, and he'll continue on without looking back. In a reading, this card comes up when someone is recognizing their strength or when they're about to start on a new crusade. The magnetism that he has is palpable. People want to follow him because he inspires passion in them. This is another time that it will show in a reading. If you've begun to follow someone with a lot of charisma, the Chariot will come up. The thing, there's always a thing. The reins. They're inside of you. You have to reach down inside of you and pull yourself up by your will. Your indomitable, badass will.
Not your bootstraps.
Not your bootstraps. That is a lie. So, that one was, again, that's the card that was, like, screaming to be picked today for whatever reason. So, hear that.
Interesting.
Hear that.
Okay.
All right. The page of coins, aka pentacles. Pentacles.
Pentacles.
The page of Pentacles is very thoughtful and introspective, and is learning how to be himself. He chooses his friends wisely and finds excellent counsel. He's definitely grounded and is growing up well. This page is just a great goofy guy. He's physical and takes good care of himself. The energy is light, honest, and really, really genuine. Almost a gosh and golly gee innocence. This innocence can turn against him, though, when it slips into immaturity. He is romantic, creative, playful, and adorable. Why, thank you for
Aw.
noticing. I'm adorable. So, all right. So we're locked in a prison of our own anxiety, but we can grab the key. And then not only do we have the key, we've got the reins, and we're indomitable, and we're badass, and everybody loves us and our charisma because we're awesome. But we're also adorable. And that is how I have read the cards, and so it may be.
Make it so.
Make it so. Right.
Wow.
All right, Claire.
Yes.
What will our next topic be? What will be on our
Wheel
of
of
fate? It's gonna be, it's gonna. And I think I need to double check my calendar, but I think. Let me look. Things are hard. I think this will be our Christmas Day release. So
Christmas Day.
I think this will be our for Christmas Day. So what will our topic for Christmas Day be?
Well, it's another repeat.
Ooh.
Alien abductions
Yay!
for Christmas Day.
You know what? I feel like that is perfect because Jesus in his own way is an alien.
And a zombie. He's all the things. He's an alien and a zombie.
I would like to maybe make a nice little note instead of it just being purely alien abductions, just general alien/alien abductions. Because I do have a story that I want to be able. I don't know if I'll tell it this time, but that I want to be able to tell that
So
I don't.
it's an
That isn't an
alien
abduction,
story.
but is
Okay.
alien. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Christmas aliens.
I mean,
Merry Christmas, E.T.
it's like Doctor Who. I mean, he always had a Christmas episode.
Well, I mean, you have to. I mean, again, Jesus is an alien, whether you mean it in that he came from the heavens, ha ha ha, or that he was an alien in the land because he was really from somewhere else and was in Bethlehem and yada yada yada, blah blah.
Aliens like Christmas too. Okay.
Christmas is for everyone.
Right. All of them. Anyway, so join us for our Christmas Day alien abduction/alien episode.
Yay! Unidentified flying Christmas object. Santa!
Yes.
Santa! I love it. It's somehow perfect.
It's apropos.
It's meant to be. The universe is speaking to us, Claire.
It really was a wheel of fate, let me tell you.
All right. So until next time, you can find us in all the things and all the places at
Brunch and Judge.
Please follow, like, subscribe, and comment. Apparently, comments weigh a lot more in algorithms than I thought they did. So comment to your heart's content.
Yes.
And my heart's content. And you can send us your own Christmas alien abduction stories or anything else you want to send, including topics for our Wheel of Fate to
brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
I actually have a Christmas alien abduction story, sort of.
Sweet.
Christmas abduction story.
Oh, okay.
It'll work. It'll be fun. Anyway. You can send all the stories too. I'm sorry, Claire.
I said brunch and judge at gmail.com.
I was talking over you. I was being very rude. So until next time, keep on brunching
And keep on judging.
and don't fuck with fairy forts.
No.
Bye.
Bye.